Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Noobtoob Modcast featuring Jammin' Slaver, Locke, and Sunflower.
Halo Wars, the long-awaited console real-time strategy game from the now dead Ensemble Studios. They've done a really good job with Halo Wars' control. I can tell you that in particular. This is probably the best controlling console RTS I've ever played, and this is a standard RTS. This is nothing unusual. This isn't trying to break any new ground, much like Dawn of War 2 has done.
That was the thing that I came away from the demo, is that this is an extremely conventional RTS, in that you have a bunch of units. You basically march them through a linear path, shoot everything in your way, and then sometimes you'll get a base and you can build more units.
It's a little bit less like that in the main game. The rest of the game, you almost always will have at least a base, if not multiple bases, which is actually kind of a nice touch to have a few bases, and one of them I've got, for instance, cranking out supplies. But when we say that it's a really conventional RTS, that doesn't really mean that, you could go into it and expect to play StarCraft. It's not like that. They do away, and thank God for this, they do away with making harvester units.
Yeah.
Instead, you build buildings which create resource, and you have tech levels.
That's a good step up for that.
That's simple. Yeah. Oh, man. So, one of the most painful things of this game would have been if I had to make harvester units, and they had to implement some kind of harvesting into the game, because that just wouldn't have fit very well.
It takes away from the action.
Oh, yeah. Definitely does. So, instead of concentrating on what you're building and where you're going, you're, managing your guys harvesting crystal and going to mines and getting gold or something like that. So it's nice that that's not part of the game. But I played through the entire campaign, completely finished it, which I made that my mission before I wanted to talk about it. And I enjoyed myself quite a bit, despite being one of those people that thinks that RTS doesn't generally work on consoles. This game was really fun. It brought a lot of the stories together. As you may or may not know, Halo Wars takes place before the big Covenant, the events in Halo 1. This is before the Halo games. So you're dealing with what are they called?
The UNC?
UNSC?
Damn it, now I can't remember it.
All the Halo fans are going to kill us for this one.
I know.
I think it's USNC. But you're dealing with like ODST units, which the new Halo game will be titled, Halo ODST, and you'll know why. But what's really cool, and I found this out from a friend of mine that actually read the Halo books, in Halo Wars they reference a ton of stuff that were in these books, and anyone who's a big fan of the Halo universe will really love what they did. If you have ODST units and then a Spartan shows up, they'll be surly and they'll complain about them because they kind of feel like they were upstaged by Spartans being created. And that was kind of a neat touch. I really like that. There's just all these little things, and it really goes towards the entire Halo universe, and this game is a big, big thing for that.
The presentation is very good on the game, or at least on the demo. It's like the cutscenes are phenomenal. I would love to see like a movie of that.
They hold up through that whole game.
Yeah.
They look that good through the whole
It definitely looks good for what I played. I played a lot of the multiplayer, and everything looked good. Even during the battles, there were some really good explosions, really good animations, and definitely a great-looking game.
Now, what did you think, as playing the multiplayer, what did you think about the game mechanics?
Definitely, like Jam said, conventional. I'm not going to say dumbed down, because there is a couple layers of strategy there between the air units and the land units and base, what you want to build at each base, and I kind of want you to touch upon that a little bit, because you mentioned it this week. But in terms of the core mechanics of what I played, I thought it's one of the best RTS games on a console for sure. Between building isn't a pain in the ass as I thought it was going to be. Building units, it's pretty quick. You just go and use the kind of circular dial thing, and upgrading units is easy. So in terms of that, it's good. As far as
they've really simplified the base building and taking care of things, not because it needs to be simple for people to understand, but because that's part of a game that you don't really need to be playing.
Yeah. What Sunflower means is that the the bases are set there. You have X amount of spaces to build, and you can build, say you have space 1, you can build anything you want. Space 2, you can build anything you want. Space 3 and 4. So you'd have like a power plant, and then 2 barracks, and then an airfield, or whatever. So that keeps it action-oriented, I still feel, and I think that's the best thing it has going for it. You're not doing a lot of this. And that's the same thing that we kind of commented with Dawn of War, is that there isn't this huge base building aspect. In Halo Wars, they do have base building, and you can customize your base however you want. Like Sonny, you said, you can have a supply base in the back, and that's fueling your...
And you can dismantle parts of your base if you don't need them anymore.
In terms of the core gameplay, it is rock, paper, scissors for me, which isn't exactly what I want.
It's not really surprising, considering it's exactly what Empire Earth does, which is what Ensemble did before this.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like, that's totally fine. What this is it's not a hardcore, in-depth layer strategy you're looking for. I think it's a great console RTS that people can, have access to. Like, not a lot of people, if you're not a fan of RTS on a PC, say, I'd check this out, because it's probably the best one you're going to find on a console.
To be honest about it, though, I don't think that this game is going to... I don't feel like I need to buy this game. It doesn't have the lasting power that I really want. It could if I didn't have all these alternatives. So if you do have a PC, you're going to be really hard-pressed to justify purchasing this game. But it is a fun rental.
I've just got a little question about the nature of the control, because you said it's rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
The thing I noticed about the control from the demo that I played is that it's very easy to select a lot of units, because you can either click the all units button or the all units on the screen button, or you can kind of like hold down the A button and you get this like radial thing pop out from your cursor, and you can select people within that circle rather than like clicking and dragging a box like in a normal RTS. But it meant that actually selecting like individual types of guys was quite tricky.
You can double tap on your guy and it will get the same type of that unit as well.
It's tough to micro. Let's just leave it at that.
Because rock, paper, scissors. The reason why I didn't play very much Empire Earth, even though I have like the first entire complete collection of the first one, is because I don't like microing in that way. I really don't like the rock, paper, scissors approach, and I don't know. That sounds like it might not be very much fun if you can't control it very easily. But actually, I didn't know about that double tapping thing. The demo doesn't tell you that.
What is nice, and I will say this about Halo Wars, is that the universe totally fits. Somehow it just does. And that really thrilled me, and it still feels like a Halo game, but it doesn't feel out of place at all. And I thought that was really awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I like that there's 6 different factions.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, well, not really 6 different races, but you can choose what leader you want on each side.
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, right.
You actually chose some leaders, Locke. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, like, look, you can choose your race between the Covenant and the SC, and within those, especially Covenant, you can get these hero characters, and they can deal some amazing damage. Like, if you have, you'll have this guy with a giant boom hammer, and they can do like different spells, and they don't level up or anything like that. But they can, if you send in just say a bunch of tanks, they can deal with those. But between the different leaders, it just depends on what units you get. It adds a little bit more I like just the flavor of it. It gives you a little more broader spectrum of other than just having the Covenant versus the Marines. Like it opens it up a bit, which I thought was nice. Like more variety is always good.
So it's kind of like the hero units in Dawn of War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and also I don't want to miss this. You can play through the entire campaign cooperatively.
Yes,
I did see that. That does sound like a lot of fun.
That's what's going to let me keep my copy here because I want to co-op through it with a Modcast listener. That'd be awesome.
Do it.
I plan on it. So there you have it. That's my verdict. Rent, don't buy unless you don't have a computer. What about you, Locke?
I would have to agree. It's a definite rent if you want RTS on your consoles. If you got a computer, I would say you're going to be very underwhelmed.
There you go.